whether they are pursuing college or a career program, or currently in college, or even a parent or an adult wanting to go back to school. So I've said a little bit about me. I've been advising students through the college and financial aid process for over 10 years between high schools and even working in the university setting. I graduated from Stephen F. Austin State University and Sam Houston and North Central. And during those times, I could tell you I took out a lot of financial aid. So, woo. um, I currently work as a program manager where I'm helping students pursue summer learning opportunities, which can lead them towards various career options or um, college. So let's get started. So inside this presentation, I plan to discuss an overview of financial aid, the types of financial aid, the financial aid process, and a great resource discussing financial aid, which is where I pulled most of my information from. But I love to give like a little bit more of information just to relate to everyone, and we can walk away with a clear understanding of this is how the financial aid process works. So overall, financial aid is money to help pay for your post-secondary options, whether it is college or a career vocational program. And oh my goodness, I told people. So there are four types of financial aid: grants, scholarships, work study, and loans. So grants are financial aid funds that don't have to be repaid. And there are examples of federal and state grants, including the Texas grant, which is a state grant. You can get up to $6,000 per year. There's also the Pell Grant, the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, also known as the FSEOG grant. And there's also the Teach Grant for students that have a huge interest of working in education, preferably teaching. There are also scholarships, and those funds are provided by colleges. It can be a nonprofit, they can come from private companies or organizations, and those scholarships do not, I mean, those funds do not have to be repaid. And scholarships are usually based on academic merit. For example, what is your grade point average, or what is your SAT or ACT score, and as well as um, what are your grades looking like currently as a junior or as a senior, because usually scholarships they're looking at juniors and seniors, and there's mostly scholarships for seniors, but they start looking at students their junior year. And also it can be talent, whether you play an instrument or you play a sport, any extracurricular activity, as well as an area of study. And that's usually well, not usually, but the area of study can include, oh, I want to major in science, or I specifically want to go into medicine, or I specifically want to pursue art, uh, engineering. So so based on the career you're interested in or that area of study, there could be a scholarship for you. Now, I do want to make clear that grants and scholarships do not have to be repaid. However, if you do not pass your semester, or while in college, or you withdraw too soon, different things like that, you will have to repay those funds. I wanted to put that out there. Work study is another um, type of financial aid, and the federal work study program allows you to earn money to pay for school by working part-time on campus. And I personally love work study. Work study is really what saved me in college, and if they did not offer it to me, I probably would not have finished, which tends to be a common thing for students. Like, they need money to pretty much make it to graduation, and I was one of those kids. So the cool thing about work study is the paycheck that you get, that is your check. Your check, you put that in your pocket. You That can help you pay for books or anything of that nature. um, I was a student assistant at the campus library. I worked at the circulation desk, and mainly I just put up books and checked books in, checked them out, and help with printing. the usual things students come into the library for, when especially when those hard assignments come around. I was the person who helped out with that. Um, and other work studies, student assisted areas of jobs that are offered on your college campus include working in financial aid, when that's where you answer the phones and you're pretty much doing customer service. Also, the Office of Admissions, they sometimes need work study students as assistants, and even in various college departments. So another work study job I had was I was the student assistant for the psychology department. And honestly, I loved Fridays because I would just answer the phones, do homework, and eat candy. So that was fun. There were those hard times when I did have to grade papers. I didn't like that, but it was interesting. I'll say that. But various college departments also offer work study. So you would actually go to the financial aid office if you see that you have been awarded work study. You pretty much, you as a student will go to the financial aid office, and they will have a bulletin board or some type of notice of all the work study jobs on campus, and you would actually apply for that work study job. You would interview, and if you get the job, you're working.
Hmm.
So it tends to be that easy.
Hey, Whitney, I have a question.
Hmm.
Um, what about like grad assistant jobs as well? Um, in my experience, I was able to like work on campus part time and then become as being a full time student, and then I was able to receive like half off my tuition because I worked part time for the university. Is that something that you've seen in your experience that may be helpful for people to know about? That if you maybe do a work study or you know further along you pursue a master's degree, they'll cut half off your tuition.
Yes, I have seen that. Actually, one of
Okay.
my friends, back in college, she worked for the accounting department um, for the actual university, and she was a student assistant, but she was also an accounting major,
Mm.
and she also had a job in the College of Business. So after working there for 2 years, they actually gave her a little stipend off her tuition. So that cut the cost on her college tuition.
Awesome.
And she told I remember her getting benefits to where if there were any banquets she was attending, because she was a College of Business student as well as a university. Um, she was a representative of the university, and she was also an employee of the university. But definitely, yes, they did give her a stipend
That's
to
awesome.
where they cut costs off her tuition.
Mm.
She did the time, and she put the time in. She's been working there from her freshman year to the end of her sophomore year. And junior year, they offered her that.
Okay. Big help.
So lucky her.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big help. A lot of people don't know about that, and I think, and it's not really much advertised until you go
it's
into
it's not,
meeting.
yeah. And that's one of the things I teach my students. You really have to ask that question. What do you have offered? Like, what's there? I know there's like a stash of money you have.
Yeah,
And I
right.
had to learn that as a student. I didn't have enough, and I just really went there and asked, "What do you have? Do you have like $500? Do you have what do you have?" And they looked through my high school transcript and they said, "Okay, well you have at least a 3.0. There is this stipend we can give you." Okay, well add it on. So that really helped. You really have to be an advocate for yourself when you're in college, especially in financial aid. And so next up are loans. And loans, they do have to be repaid after completing the program or the degree. And there are federal and private loans, but in this case, we're specifically talking about federal loans from the federal government, Department of Education. Um, so there are different types of federal loans. There is the direct subsidized loan, the direct unsubsidized loan, and also the direct plus loan. All of these um, all of these are available. So for the direct subsidized loan, they're eligible to undergrad college students who show financial need. And they show financial need through their college, through their financial aid application, which I'm going to discuss soon. And while they're in college using this loan, the Department of Education will pay the interest while they're in school. Then there's the unsubsidized loan. That one is available for undergrad students, graduate students, and professional students. However, it is not based on financial need. So that means anyone can get the direct unsubsidized loan if you're pursuing a degree program. And however, the unsubsidized loan is different from the subsidized loan because while the student is in school, they're paying the interest during school, periods, etc. What I'm saying is the interest accrues while they're in school. The Department of Education will not pay for that interest. And so while it's not expected for you to pay that interest while you're in school, when you graduate and after that 6 month grace period, which you do get a 6 month grace period after you graduate before you start paying back your federal loans, after that grace period, you will be expected to pay not only the loan amount that you took out to pay for school, but those interest fees that accrued while you were in school.
Mm,
So it so when students hear, yeah, you want to graduate in 4 years, they mean that because that interest will accrue over 4 years. And things happen to where you're probably in school a little longer, 5 years, 6 years. Keep in mind that interest is still accruing. So there's that one. And the last one is the direct plus loan. So the plus loans, I put this up here not just for current high school students, but parents as well. So in case you're interested in going back to school, these loans do cover for professional students or parents of dependent undergrad students. So if you are a parent that currently has a student in college and you're wanting to go back to college, hey, the direct plus loan is for you. Now, while it's not based on financial need, a credit check is required. So that tends to be a huge part in the direct plus loan that many don't know about. And I did want to point that out. However, I wanted to put this out here for those parents who currently have students in college and the kid needs extra help to pay for school. That direct plus loan can come in handy. Now, I usually come across the whole line of my mama does not want me to get a loan or I am not taking out any loans. And how I reply to that is I agree. You don't want loans. I have loans. However, take out what you need and not what you want. And I say that because they will offer, you will look at your financial aid award letter and you'll see 10,000 here and 10,000 here. And you're like, oh, I can do a lot with 10,000. No, take out what you need to pay for your classes, to pay for your tuition, to pay for your room and board, those sticker prices that all come together and turns out to be a bigger amount. You only want to take out what you need. So that way you're not owing so much more when you get out, if that makes sense. So all of those four types of financial aid, the grants, the loans, the scholarships, and the work study, all of that is available to students through the FAFSA application, which is the free application for federal student aid. This is the main application to apply for federal financial aid, and it's also the main application to be seen for institutional aid or financial aid from the actual college or university that the student is applying to. So there are things needed to complete the FAFSA. And before I go any further, I want parents and students to hear this. Um, the financial aid application is a time when the student and the parent comes together and actually discuss those serious questions about household finances, not getting deep into terms on bills, but hey, what did you make last year and things of that nature. um I grew up with the term, you don't need to know all that, that's grown folks business. However, when it comes to the financial aid application, it is my business, mom. It is my business, dad. Um, so things needed to complete the FAFSA application include your financial aid, your financial student aid ID, long time ago, back when I was in high school in 2004, the Stone Ages, we had a four-digit pin, but over time they changed it to the financial the I'm sorry, the Federal Student Aid ID, which is a whole lot easier because it is connected to your phone number, your email address, and mainly your social security number. Your social security number is connected to your FSA ID, and the student and the parent will need one. Also, your social security number is very important. You do need that. Parental information. So again, mom, dad, guardian, and student, this is the time y'all come together as a cohesive unit and and have those conversations. Um, and that includes the tax records from the previous year. So, for example, if let's say I am Whitney and I plan to go to college in fall 2022. I will be doing the 2022-2023 financial aid application, and I will be needing my 2021 tax records. Also, records of assets like money, stocks, real estate, etc. And also, you'll need the student will need the list of schools of interest, like where did they apply to college, or where did they submit an application. So let's get started. I have a few graphics. I hope you all can see them. If not, I'll just breeze through them to give to give a gist of what's going on. So, first thing, do I need my parents' information? So, as a college counselor, will come across this question all the time. Miss Casey, I'm 18. I don't need my parents' information. I'm grown. No, boo boo. You still need your parents' information because they have a list of questions on the FAFSA application that will deem a student independent or a dependent student. And some of the questions include: will you be 24 by the time you start? Well, the year that you are applying for financial aid? Are you married or separated but not divorced? Will you be working towards a master's or a doctorate? Do you have children who receive more than half of their support? Do you have any other dependents that you take care of? Are you currently on active duty in the military, or are you a veteran? At any time since you were 13, um, did you become a ward of the court or in foster care? Are you an emancipated minor, or are you an unaccompanied youth who is homeless or at risk of being homeless? 9 times out of 10, my students all say no, and they are dependent students. Then you have those special cases where, okay, this student is independent. But most of the time that I've come across, my students are dependent. So when anytime that someone says, I'm 18, I'm grown, I know I can do the FAFSA by myself. No, you cannot. And you don't want a $50,000 sticker price on your hands. So you are a dependent student, which means that you will need your parental information. So if you answer these questions and you're seen as a dependent student, you will need parental information. However, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you are considered an independent student and you will not have to submit any parental information. So I love this graphic because it's great to look at, and it's so easy, and it's almost like a game when I used to show it to my students. But this pretty much answers who's the parent that I use when I fill out my FAFSA. So because there are so many different cases out there and there's so many different stories, so many different living situations, and this is the best graphic to explain it or to help understand who do you add on your FAFSA application. So for example, are your parents married to each other? Yes. Okay, you're going to have to put both of them on there. um are your parents married to each other? No. Do they live together? Yes. You still have to report them even if they were never married, anything like that. um, if you just answer no across the board, hold on. Okay, so let's say Parents are not married to each other, they don't live in the same house, that's when the question comes up, who did you live with more over the past 12 months? That's who you put on your financial aid application. Also, um, another case that will come up. My parents are not married to each other. They do not live together. Um, and I lived with both of them. Like I lived with one parent up to the summer, and I lived with the other parent up to Christmas, and we just switched off. So so that's when the question will pop up. Who provided at least 51% of support to you in the past 12 months? That's where it gets a little tricky. Usually most of the time the student just answers, which is funny to me. The student just reply with, I'm just gonna go with my mom. I like her more. So it's crazy, but these are different questions that come up. But if the parent has remarried, you will have to report your parent as well as the step parent. So um yeah, there's a lot.
Uh,
And then for those who are not living with their parents, they are legally adopted by a grandparent or a foster parent or a legal guardian. Um, they do not count as they do not count as parents. And if I believe that if you are a foster, you were in the foster care, you are pretty much considered an independent student, so you wouldn't even need um, parental information. However, if your grandparent or if you have a legal guardian that legally adopted you, you would need. I have seen in some cases where colleges will ask for the grandparents' information or the aunt whoever legally adopted you, the legal guardian, they will ask for their information in cases I have. So it gets confusing, and this graphic kind of breaks down who is the person that you go to when it comes to your financial aid. That's where it gets really confusing, but it helped my students a lot. Let's see. So the financial aid process, it can be quick and easy and smooth, or it can be very draining. But when you have good people in your corner, we can try to make it easy for you. So of course you need all the items in order to complete the financial aid application, and then you go to the FAFSA application. So always remember, okay, so once upon a time, the FAFSA used to open up on January 1st, to where as soon as you say whoop whoop, happy new year, jump on FAFSA and get that application started. Now they pushed it back. I will say a few years ago, they pushed it back to October. So October 1st, turn on your laptop, let's get on the financial aid application. And they also pushed it back to October under the assumption that, well, parents have already filed their taxes, so they should already have their tax information, and they may have met the late deadlines, all those things. Um, the way I would tell my students when it comes to the financial aid application, the sooner you get it done, the better. One, because you're not the only person in the state of Texas or in the United States of America that is applying for financial aid, period. And I give them a little example of, if you were invited to a party that had your like you already put in your favorite songs, you already know your favorite food is there, um, and these celebrities are all going to be there. You're gonna try and get there first instead of being fashionably late. You're gonna try and get there and get the free food and see all the celebrities and everyone else. So that's the way you want to treat financial aid. I want to get it done first. So that way it won't take as long to be seen, to be awarded. And I want to be sure that I am awarded financial aid funds. And that's another thing. The later you wait on it, and that can happen because we're still waiting on tax documents and things of that nature. But the longer you wait, the money will run out or dry up.
Whitney,
Uh-huh.
can I pause and direct your attention to a question that's in the chat?
Sure.
Okay, this question is from San. San, do you want to read it? out loud, or do you want me to read it?
Oh, okay. I see it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, I can read it out. I
Yeah.
can read it
Yeah.
out. So the question was, how much money can one be awarded for school, and is there a limit? I know usually sometimes, per semester there
Hmm.
is an amount that um one is awarded, but
Hmm.
is there a limit for the entire 4 years that one can be awarded for school?
So I want to say, whew, it's a yes and a no. So and I say no because I have seen students get awarded at least $100,000 in scholarships, and that's college scholarships from the actual university, outside scholarships, um, state and federal grants, all that. And my answer is no, because there are certain scholarships and there are certain financial aid offices that will say, hey, if you're already getting at least $60,000 from this particular scholarship, we cannot award you any more scholarships. So it's really based on the university.
Okay. I do know some people want to go back for their masters,
Yes.
and they may want to consider how much money they're borrowing,
Mhm.
so that for their masters as well. Or if they were going to go back for their masters, is there a particular amount that they can borrow concerning their master's degree?
Yes. So if they were to, let's say, student loans, undergrads, I believe it is 5,500. Oh,
Okay.
let me read. I'm gonna go to Google just to be sure I got that right, because I don't want to tell a story. I believe 5,000, and then for grads, 10,000 per year.
Okay. So 55,000 for undergrads, and
Let me
then
make sure.
10,000
I have it in
for
my notes. I'm sorry.
graduates.
Graduates get more in student loans. Those
Okay.
who are pursuing their master degrees, they do get more in unsubsidized s-
Okay.
student loans.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm going to get that actual number, that amount to you, and put that in the chat. I will do research on that, like before this is over.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Were there any other questions? Okay. So going on with the financial aid process, the student would, starting October 1st, they would they will work on the financial aid application. And once they complete the application, right at the end, they'll get a student aid report. And that pretty much shows a summary of the information that they put on the FAFSA application. So then, once you complete the application, you're going to receive an email saying, hey, you have successfully submitted your FAFSA application. And then maybe in a few days you'll get another email saying your application has been successfully processed by the Department of Student Aid. Now that information after that gets sent to the actual colleges of where the student is applying, or whatever colleges they put on their list on the FAFSA application. If the financial aid office at the college sees a little discrepancy, or they're like, we need more information, they're going to do a verification. And the student verification it's now online. It's all online. It used to be like a pink paper that would come in the mail, or a yellow packet that would come in the mail, and you would have to um, write in a whole bunch of stuff. Now it's all online. The student verification process is mainly verifying what you said on the FAFSA application is really real, and you put that on the student application. For example, on the FAFSA, you say, I live with my mom and I live with my dad, and we have there's four of us and two of us are in college. So then they're going on the student verification worksheet, they're actually going to say, okay, put in the name of your parents, put in the name of put in your name and all your siblings and their ages, and check off which one is in college. And sometimes they might ask for actual tax documents. Um, and I'm going to talk about tax information in a moment, but they will actually ask for tax documents. You can upload your tax return, um, um, all that information, just so they can verify that everything you said matches what's on the FAFSA application. They will not go to IRS and report you. None of that. That's not their job. Two different lanes, but they just want to verify. And of course, you're going to be seen for grants, loans, as well as work study. Sometimes you might not be seen, the student might not be seen for work study. That's when but as you're learning about work study, that's when you become that go-getter and you actually go to the financial aid office and let them know that you want to be seen for work study. Work study funds are a smaller pot of money outside of the rest of the financial aid, even though all of it is federal. There's a smaller pot for work study, and they want to be sure that they have enough money to pass along to all those students who want to be seen and who are actually um, awarded for work study. And so after you do the student verification, if you have to, or the colleges receive your information, usually between March and May, you receive an award letter. And the award letter pretty much goes over the cost of attendance, which includes books, supplies, student fees, other activity fees, just a whole lot of fees, um, tuition, yeah, tuition, room and board that includes your dorm room and your meal plan, and other fees like that. And then along with the cost of attendance, they're actually going to show you how much they want to award you. And they will show you that based on how much loans they're offering you, how much in grants they're offering you. And the grants, it gives you a breakdown. It'll show you federal Pell Grant, 5,000, federal Texas, the Texas grant, 6,000. Like, it breaks it down, and it also breaks it down by semester. So of course there are 2 semesters unless you're in another type of college that offers trimesters, but in general, we're talking 2 semesters. So they'll show you on the financial aid award letter, semester one offer and semester two offer, and that's how much they're offering you for that year overall. So that's when the student will look at how much they're offering you versus how much you need. And if you play and not play, if you actually do the math, you see, okay, I'll have enough, or ooh, I'm still down 2,000. That's when you want to have conversations about, okay, so what other financial options are out there. But that's pretty much what the financial aid student award letter would look like. Let's see. Um, can I go? Oh, there we go. And so I want to say that some there are career programs out there that will also accept federal financial aid. I know there are programs out there that can look really expensive, but the number one question is, do they accept federal financial aid? Because not all do. So if they accept federal financial aid, that is a good thing, because the federal government can help you pay for that career program versus you just paying out of pocket, and or just taking out private loans that'll really get you in debt. And so there is a 6 month grace period after you graduate. You throw your tassel, I mean, you turn your tassel and you throw your hat up. Congratulations, you have 6 months of a grace period before you start paying back those student loans, if you took out any throughout the 4 years or more that you were in that program. And the same goes for grad students as well. And and they give you 6 months because it's under the assumption of you will be able to find work and um, have the funds you need to pay us back. Let's see. I wanted to stop there before I talk about inputting financial information. Were there any questions? No. Okay. So I wanted to talk about inputting tax information onto your FAFSA. So they will ask you about the cool there are a few things on the FAFSA application that I have found pretty cool because they have really done a lot better with the FAFSA application from the time I was pursuing college to the time I was helping students pursue college and to now. So it has gotten easier to where while everything is online, you can literally take out your tax return and follow along with the questions on the FAFSA application and type everything in. They'll ask you for your AGI. They'll ask you for the pretty much the same questions they will ask you on the tax return, especially on the 1040. And it's usually that first page. About 15 questions. From what I recall. However, there is this cool trick that I loved, and I was so happy that they started doing it when like a few years ago. So there's a way you can actually transfer tax information into your FAFSA application without even pulling out your tax return or going searching for it or calling your accountant or whoever did your taxes or going on the IRS website and inputting a whole lot of numbers and a credit card information, all that. Yeah, you don't have to do that. So um on the FAFSA application, you can really just transfer your info with the click of a button, and then you can instantly retrieve your tax information and just review it to make sure everything is correct. And that's your income tax info. So if a student was to log in and they get to the the parent financial part, there is going to be a little link that says link to IRS. So it's going to take you to this outside website, and that's for the parent to put in their FSA ID to pretty much verify themselves. And they will answer a few questions or verify a few questions, such as what was your address at the time that you filed taxes? That's the number one. That's the number one question that tends to throw people off because things happen, people move, times change, and you forget those things. And so it's important that you have that correct address. You make sure the social is correct. People get married and change names. What was your name at the time that you filed your taxes? Once you verify all that and you click transfer now, if it takes you back to the FAFSA screen saying review to retrieve your information, congratulations. That is your info. And it took you less than 5-10 minutes. You didn't have to pull out a piece of paper. You didn't have to call anyone. It's all there. And then you can just keep going with the application. So it is called the IRS data retrieval tool. And it is a really cool tool on the FAFSA application that has saved so much time. Again, not everybody keeps up with their taxes. It happens. Also, in the case that you do not file taxes or you did not file taxes, they will ask you as a parent or they ask you as a student, did your parent file taxes last year? There, the options are yes, they filed, or they are going to file, or did not file. Some students are scared to answer that question. Please don't be afraid to answer that question. Be honest answering that question. Again, the IRS is not going to be like, what? They didn't file taxes? Go get them. No, that's not the case. Again, two different lanes, two different departments. They're not worried about financial aid like that. Let's see. Um, Common questions that pop up along with the other ones that I discussed. We did talk about the parental information. And again, one question is what parent information must be provided on the FAFSA, and that includes parents' household size, financial circumstances, and that includes tax information, certain assets, as well as untaxed income. Another question that pops up is what if I'm unable to provide parental information due to special circumstances? That happens. You can still complete the FAFSA. They do not recommend that you fill out the application without parental information, but if there's no other way, just go ahead and get it done. That's when, again, we talked about advocacy of the student earlier. This is when the student, because at times we don't want to tell our business, but student advocacy, this is when the student has to actually call the financial aid office and say, and speak to a financial aid counselor and say, hey, look, I know I need my parental information, but I got kicked out my house and I have not been living there in the past 2 months. I really need this application. I really need this financial aid. In some cases that I have seen, the financial aid advisor would tell them, okay, I want you to type this in a letter, exactly what you told me. I need proof from your high school. I need it notarized, send it back to us, and we'll add it to your financial application file, and we'll go far from there. And for some, that actually worked. Eventually, the student did have to go to the parent and get the information needed and just moved on. How and the thing is, without filing the parental information, you might not be able to receive the subsidized loans or the federal Pell Grant. So that's when I say, hey, student, let's stick up for yourself, and you go to the financial aid office and actually tell them what's going on. What I've seen working with students in financial aid is that this is one of those times where you have to tell your business. This is one of those times where you have to be honest and you have to be open to get what you want, which is funding for school. Um, Another question that popped up: what if I cannot afford the college application fees? So, college application fees most of the time are free. You may see one university has an $80 application fee, another university may have $25 application fee, and then some or 99, whatever the case may be. um your high school counselor or your college counselor, they will have college application fee waivers for you. Also, if you take the SAT, you get 4 free college application fee waivers. Also, if you take the ACT, you get one, no, I think you get 2 free college application fee waivers. And if you're on free reduced lunch, you automatically get college application fee waivers. So there is a way to get your student application fees waived. I have also seen to where some of my students, they have also completed the application and submitted it, saying they're going to send a money order, but then they will call the college admissions office and tell them, hey, look, I got a lot going on. We cannot afford this. Some colleges are really, really nice and tack that college application fee onto their financial aid for them to pay off or to get paid. So colleges, each college is different, and each financial aid office is very different. It's really about just advocating for yourself and asking those questions. And we did discuss about filling out the financial aid. And again, why do I need to fill out the FAFSA form ASAP? Because it is a first come, first serve basis, just like the party, just like your favorite food. It is first come, first serve. And also, financial aid is really it. What I learned in college, financial aid is a privilege because it can be taken away from you if you do not um, exceed those academic goals that they want you to have, which is pretty much passing your classes. So you worked hard to get it. Let's keep it. I did see a question. Are the application fee waivers for reduced lunch only for students in Texas? So in Texas, um, I do recall the college, if you on free reduced lunch, you get free college application fee waivers. However, any student should be able to get college application fee waivers. And if the student, even if they're not on free reduced lunch, if they registered for the SAT and the ACT, and they actually sat and took the exam for the SAT or the ACT, they also get college application fee waivers. SAT, College Board, because you took the SAT, they'll give you 4 free college application fee waivers. So in that case, you do not have to be on free reduced lunch. Now, I just know for the state of Texas. Outside of Texas, I did do some work in Mississippi, and let's see, it really wasn't a free reduced lunch issue there. It was if you took the SAT, you get the college application fee waivers. If you took the ACT, you should get a college application fee waiver. Um, I just know for Texas and for Mississippi, I didn't see it just for free reduced lunch. If that answered your question. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Oops, I'm going next. So while there are plenty of online resources, the best one is the actual federal student aid website, which is www.studentaid.gov. Um, and there you can access the FAFSA application, and it updates every year. You can also access the FAFSA application deadlines. You can log in to view how much you currently have in student loans. There are plenty of checklists on there for academic and financial preparation. There's plenty of infographics and videos on financial aid. And they also do a comparison in school aid offers, meaning um, if you looked up the school University of Houston and another school University of Dallas, you can see a comparison. Oh, they offered the students this much in grants, and they offered this much in scholarships and loans, and this school did not. So you get to see those comparisons as you are having conversations with yourself, if you want to go back to school undergrad, or go to graduate school, or for your student that's wanting to pursue college. um the federal student aid website is through the Department of Education. So if it says .gov, you're in the right place. Another mistake that happens is the FAFSA website. If you just want to go directly to FAFSA, is fafsa.ed.gov. A lot of people will go to fafsa.com, and they will ask you to pay for an application. They don't, the FAFSA website does not ask for a payment. So if you see .gov, you're in the right place. Oh, I'm trying to go next. One moment. Oh, okay. So were there any questions? That was the end of my PowerPoint, but were there any questions?
I have a question. I know that there could be students who um, do not know how to fill out a FAFSA application. Is there a way that they can get help for that? I know there are counselors. Where could they go to get guidance on how to fill out an application?
The FAFSA website, I keep saying the FAFSA website, the Federal Student Aid website, they do have a chat. They have a chat box, and they also have a phone number. And I've had students call them to be guided through the application. Also, the website has revamped to where there are actual walkthrough videos. They're on YouTube, but there are actual walkthrough videos to get them through the entire application. The students tend to have the most trouble with the financial part, especially when it comes to parental info. But other than that, those videos do help.
And also, are there any scholarships for students who, I think you said this, maybe if they wanted to major in like computers, um, mathematics, are there any special scholarships?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Um, I would say start with the university. There are well, let me start over. There are scholarships that are offered through nonprofits or private companies that mainly nonprofits and foundations that are specifically like, I am looking for African American males interested in pursuing engineering. They do have
Hmm.
scholarships like those. But I also tell students to go to the college's website and look under financial aid and click on their institutional scholarships. For example, University of Houston downtown, I love their financial aid website because they break it down. For example, under the College of Science and Technology, we have scholarships for incoming students and current students. So if you're an incoming student with a 3.5 high school GPA and you're interested in info technology, apply here. If you're a current college student or at University of Houston downtown, or if you're a transfer student and you have at least a 2.5 GPA and you're pursuing a math or science degree, click here. So it could be the science and technology department. It can be under the art department that offers various majors in art. It could be under the College of Engineering with all the different majors. For example, we're looking for incoming freshmen with a 3.5 GPA and 1100 SAT or 20 ACT interested in engineering. Apply here. That there's colleges that have financial aid scholarships just like that, like institutional scholarships. So yes.
Yeah, I do know I know there are scholarships offered for especially people of color who are
Yes.
wanting to get into STEM careers.
Yes.
So that's really good information. Thank you so much for that. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am. No
much.
problem. Um, a few scholarships that I highly encourage. If anybody wants to take notes, the Coca-Cola Scholarship, the Dell Scholars Program, the Burger King Scholars, the Denny, I forgot the Denny Foundation Scholarship. I did have a few student athletes apply for that one. There is the Foot Locker Scholarship. I think that one is for athletes. What else? And then there are just local scholarships. A lot of people overlook local scholarships, but since we're in the state of Texas, there I know here in Houston we have the Houston Livestock Rodeo Scholarship, and so there's a lot of local scholarships for um juniors and current seniors. There's plenty of those out there.
Thank you for that.
No
Yeah, because I
problem.
was trying to figure out the names of them and I could not think of the actual names. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Oh, and to answer your question, okay, so if you're an undergraduate student, the max amount you can borrow each year for the direct subsidized and unsubsidized loans for an undergrad is from 5,500 to 12,500 per year. Now, for a grad student, you can borrow up to $20,500 each year in direct unsubsidized loans. And I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes, ma'am. Were there any other questions? Okay, well, I wanted to thank you. Um, thank you for having me. And this is exciting. This is great. And that's my email. If you have any further questions, um, I just love talking about this stuff, and I love researching this stuff just for the greater good, just to help students. It was pretty much if there was a me. When I was in high school, I think I'd be better off. I wouldn't have so many loans. But no, my high school counselor was cool. It was just 336 students, and we were a crazy class. So I know she couldn't deal with all of us. But yeah. And is there a book or website listing
Yeah,
scholarship?
I was gonna say there's a question from a person.
Mhm. That's a good question.
Yes. So, um, for example, there is the College for All Texas website. Oh, and I meant to talk about that one. Okay, so the College for All Texas website, it gives all the information you need to know about colleges and financial aid and scholarships in the state of Texas only. And it's pretty interactive. And I try to push more students and parents there, and it even gives information about military funding. So the Hazelwood Act and the GI Bill, those as well. As for books, I cannot think of them off the top of my head, but there are some. I'm just gonna type them in the chat. But there are some. There's this big book, and I cannot think of it right now, but it has a lot of scholarships, and I encourage students, hey, if you want to pay for it, go to Barnes and Noble or go to any bookstore, and they should have them. But I'll get that list in a moment. Thank you.
What was Whitney? What was the name of that website again?
College for All Texans.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? I'll open up the floor for you for any last minute questions for Whitney. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Good, good. Okay.
I just have a comment. I just wanted to say that this is very valuable information, especially for students who are, in inner cities who may not get a chance to receive this information. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this information. It's really,
Absolutely.
really valuable.
And I also wanted to put out there, it's not discussed much, but even if the student is not from, let's see, they're not from this country, but they just happen to be living in Texas. There is a state financial aid application they can do, and it's called the TAFSA, the Texas application for state aid. So they can only be seen for state aid. So that includes the Texas grant, and they could also be seen for loans. Well, actually, no, they can only be seen for the Texas grant and whatever funds the university offers them. So, um, just in case that question comes up, if you're helping a student that is not from here, but they are currently living in Texas, they've been here for the past year or throughout their 4 years in high school, you're interested in going to college in Texas, cool, you still can. You can still get financial aid. It'll just be state aid. And books, scholarship books. So there is that is the one I was looking for, the ultimate scholarship book. They update every year. Every year. And I like that one. There's other books out there, such as I remember having the Black Students Guide to Scholarships, and College Board tends to come out with a book as well. Matter of fact, and I'm also going to put this in the chat. I'm sorry. See, now I'm just spitting out information. um, there is a website, well, not a website. There is an area on the College Board website. So SAT is through College Board, but College Board also has a special section called Big Future, and that is for students to not only research colleges, but also research the cost of attendance and how much students get awarded in financial aid. That is another great tool. And um, I'll put that in the chat as well. And there's one more because I was actually a part of this project. It is called Texas Uncourse. It's an online resource for students and parents, whether the student is in grade school um, or currently in high school, finishing high school. They have various modules to learn about colleges, careers, financial aid. They even have a special section for parents as well. It's all free and is interactive.
Right. Are there any more questions, comments? Thank you so much, Whitney. I mean,
Thank you.
this is valuable information. Like San said, definitely, if I could go back to my high school days. I'd be on this call. I'd be seeking. I think would have been better off going into
Oh,
college, but nonetheless, we graduated. We did something right.
yes. We graduated. We made it. Hey,
We
we
made
made
it.
it.
So the chat is blown up. We thank you very much, Whitney. Um, love to have you back again. We're going to definitely have to work that in the schedule at some
Yes.
point. So
Yes. And I also talk about the college application process as well. So
you know,
if that conversation ever comes up, I want to be there.
oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So her contact information is there. If you have questions for her offline, like I said, she is a whiz at this stuff and making sure your child is off to a good start, um, especially through high school and during college. So this information is very good. I want to take this off
Thank you.
mute.
And what is her contact number? I didn't see it in the chat.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a contact number yet, but you can definitely email me.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work out the kinks of having all that in one. So,
No worries. Is your email in the chat?
oh, I'll put that in there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Whitney's on the come up.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm on the come up.
So yeah, she's our open mic night secret. She's our secret weapon. For any
Woo-hoo.
questions related to college, college readiness, and also this is something that I would like to do more of to target those college students or inner city youth that are finishing up their high school career and thinking about college, or even for those college students that are thinking about going back to school. Um, Whitney is a great resource, and I would like for her to be a part of those conversations as well in a very informal manner, so that we can all build a legacy, right, for our current generation, for future generations to come. So we thank you so very much,
Thank you.
Whitney, for your expertise.
And if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna research it. So, just to let you know.
Absolutely.
But thank you. I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to more. And thank you all for the questions. I do appreciate it. It keeps me on my toes. So.
Yes. Awesome. Well, if there's not any more questions, we thank you. And we're going to turn it over for announcements by San, one of our very own San. She's been doing a great job these past couple of weeks. So she has some announcements for us to look forward to in the community, as well as at open mic night as well. So San,
Okay.
take it
Yes,
over.
I'm here. Okay. Secure the Bag event, part 2, from the comfort of your home. Please join us for the last installment of our virtual Secure the Bag event on next Thursday, March 25th, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time via Zoom. Learn how to manage your money and level up your understanding on the nuances of retirement that will last you a lifetime and more, a legacy. Our special guest speaker is Timothy McClensley, Jr. He's from Tennessee. He is an innovator and leader in helping people discover the joy of retirement. So this is going to be really, really good for those who are interested in retirement. We're all getting older, so we need to stay tuned and figure out how to do that. We are opening this session to any young adult interested. Email us at cityviewcrew@gmail.com. Once again, that's city, C-I-T-Y, viewcrew@gmail.com to secure your spot. This event is free. Let's pack the Zoom room. In honor of Women's International History Month, Shamia Williams will be hosting a women's wellness forum called The Whole Woman, where ladies get together and share their insight on wellness as a lifestyle and their impactful stories. This event will be Saturday, March 27th at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. This event will be hosted online, so please RSVP on their website at www.jesusgirlenterprise.org. Happy International Women's Month. Yay! We appreciate all of our women who are conquering the world with their presence, power, and strength. Thank you for all you do and keep making a difference in the lives of your community. Here's a quote from Michelle Obama. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. That is so true. And that concludes our announcements.
Thank you. Well, as Ann said, happy International Women's Month to all women, queens. Thank you so much for all you do on behalf of the crew. We certainly appreciate you. Celebrate, enjoy yourselves. You make the world go round. We need you. We appreciate all that you're doing in the communities, in the household, on the job, wherever you go, you are changing lives different. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, that concludes our announcement. Thank you so much again, Sam, for your high spirit and your willingness to serve. So that concludes our night tonight. I don't see any announcement questions in the chat. That's fine. Again, this audio has been recorded